Troubleshoot common network problems. The addressing table. R1 with two interfaces. This is R1. R3 with two interfaces. R3. Firewall with three interfaces. This is DevNet associate server, private IPv4 address, and public address. This is this. Example server on internet, PCA and PCB. PCA and PCB. Networks have a lot of components working together to ensure connectivity and data delivery. Often, these components may not work properly. This may be due to a simple device misconfiguration or many seemingly unrelated problems that must be systematically resolved. As a developer, you may need to troubleshoot network issues to regain connectivity. Test connectivity. PCB. Try to reach the web page of DevNet associate server. Okay, and test connectivity of the network. Go to PCB desktop browser and use this name, then go. Okay, go to PCB desktop web browser. Use this www.dev-associate-netacat.pka www.dev-associate-netacat.pka. Go. Hostname unresolved. The web page request will not work. Troubleshoot the basic configuration of PCB. In the packet tracer work area, you can see the connection between PCB and S3 has red icons. Look at this connection in red. This means that the connection is physically down between the two, or TCP/IP is not correctly configured on PCB. Okay, PCB. Okay, go to command prompt, go to PCB, close the browser, go to command prompt, ping the loopback to ensure that TCP/IP is installed and working properly. Okay, ping to myself the loopback. Okay, it's very good. Because there were successful replies, we know that TCP/IP is installed and working correctly. This means that most likely either the Ethernet port on PCB or S3 is not enabled. Config on PCB and fast Ethernet. Config fast Ethernet. The port status is off. Click on next to port status to enable the interface. Okay, click here on. Okay, look at this. Now it's green and orange. Notice the icons between PCB and S3 turn green after a few seconds to indicate communication between the two devices. Okay, wait for the green indicators and go to PCB. Okay, check the IP configuration. Click IP configuration. Okay, go to PCB. Go to desktop, close the command prompt and IP configuration. You should be provided with an IP address if there is a DHCP server on the network. notice that the DHCP request failed because PCB cannot reach a DHCP server. You will need to provide a static IP address information. Okay, use a static in this information. Static. Remember, you are in this network, so the IP address belongs to that network. Okay, the correct subnet mask, the default gateway, DNS server on internet. Okay, is this DNS server. Close IP configuration and go to the web browser. Close this, go to web browser. Try again this name. Okay, www dev associate dash net cat.pka. Okay, go. May take a while. Go and again the request fails. So now troubleshoot R3. You will test connectivity to the next network device R3. Okay, this device R3. Communicate with the default gateway. Close web browser, command prompt, ping the default gateway. Go to PCB. Okay, look at this on web. Hostname unresolved. Okay, so you don't have access to a DNS server. You don't have internet connection. You don't have access to this server that is the DNS server. So that's why the error is hostname unresolved. Okay, and ping the default gateway. Go to PCB, close the web browser, command prompt, ipconfig. You can verify your default gateway and ping the default gateway. Okay, request timeout. Ping fails. You know that the IP addressing information on PCB is correct, that the interface is up, and that the TCP IP stack is working properly. There must be something wrong with the default gateway preventing communication. Check the IP configuration of R3. R3 config gigabit 001. The R3 config 001. This is the interface connected to 172.16.3.0 network. This network, 172.16.3.0.24. The interface is up and there is IP addressing information for it, but it is not correct for the 172.16.3.0 network. This IP change the IP address for this interface. Okay, to the correct value 172.16.3.1 because should be the default gateway on the PC. Okay, you can do this on command line interface. You can change here, but I will do it on command line interface because it's the way you will do it on real router. Okay, and or exit. Okay, enable configure terminal. The problem is on this interface. This interface gigabit 001. Interface gigabit 001. Set the IP address. The correct IP address 172.16.3.1. And the net mask is 24. 24 means 255, 255, 255, 0. Okay, enter. And exit. Now, verify. Ping to the default gateway from PCB. Go to PCB. Repeat the ping to the default gateway. Ping to the default gateway. Very good. Okay, great. We now have communication between PCB and the default gateway. Okay, return to the web browser on PCB. Attempt to connect to the web page. The DevNet associate netacat.pka. Okay. Again, try to access the web server here. Okay, go to PCB, close web browser, use this name. Go. Okay, it still does not work. So troubleshoot R1. You will continue troubleshooting on the next device in the path. Okay, next device in the path from PCB to the server. The next device is R1. Okay, R1, because you do not have any control over the devices in the internet cloud. Okay, you do not have control over the devices in this cloud. So troubleshoot R1. Check the basic configuration of R1. By looking at the packet tracer work area, we can see that there is a physical problem with the cabling between R1 and firewall. Look at this red indicator. R1 config tab, R1 config. Check the port status. Okay, go to gigabit 0, gigabit 001. The ports are up. Okay, you can see on gigabit 00 on. The network between devices is 209.165.200.224 prefix 29. The IP addresses of the ports at either end of the cable must fall in this range for communication to take place. Okay. So this is very good on R1. On command line interface, you can verify, like the following example, and exit. Okay, enter, enable, show IP interface, brief, enter. Now you can see status up, gigabit 000 and gigabit 001 up. Okay, check the cable, hover over firewall. Okay, you can see this. VLAN 2 has an acceptable IP address and the link is up. Okay, VLAN 1, VLAN 2, VLAN 3, VLAN 2, 209.165.200.226, prefix 29. Very good. or you can verify on the firewall using command line interface. Enable, enter, no password, enter, show running config, enter, space, VLAN 2. This IP is very good. This is the prefix 29. This is a correct IP that belongs to this network. 209.165.200.224 is the network. This is an available IP on that network. Okay, and hover over R1. Okay, Gigabit 00 has an acceptable IP address and the link is up. Okay, Gigabit 000, 209.165.200, 225, prefix 29 is very good. Link up. And okay, on R1 you can verify using command line interface the correct IP address. 209.165.200.225 is available IP. The interface is up, but the protocol is down. Okay, the protocol is down on R1. The problem is the cable itself. It may be damaged, or it may be connected to an incorrect port. You will need to recable the connection between devices. So replace the cable. Use the delete tool to remove the cable between R1 and firewall. Okay, use this tool. Okay, this tool. Delete and delete this cable. And now go to this tool, select, click here on select. Okay. Use a copper straight through cable. Click firewall, Ethernet 00. Okay, go to connections, copper straight through. Click firewall, Ethernet 00. And remember is Gigabit 000 on R1. The only one available port on the router R1. You should now see the icons on both sides of the cable. Okay, and green indicator and orange indicator. Wait a moment. Okay, wait for the green indicators and check the connectivity. Go to web browser on PCB and attempt to bring up the DevNet Associate server web page. Okay, go to PCB. This is the name on the browser and go again. Go. It still does not work. To find out if it is a connection issue or protocol issue, attempt to ping the server. Okay, ping the server IP address. Ping to this IP with the public IP address. Okay. Go to command prompt. Okay, go to PCB. Okay, and close the web browser. Command prompt. Ping the IP address of the server. Okay, ping the IP address of the server, but use the public IP address 209.165.200.227. 209.165.200.227. Okay, the IP address of the server, the public IP address. Enter. The first set of pings may fail until the network converges. Okay, and may fail, but repeat. Okay, repeat. Okay, repeat. Okay, all pings successful. This is what you wanted to see. We are getting all the way to DevNet associate server and all the way back using ICMP. This tells you there may be something wrong with the DNS configuration. Troubleshoot DNS. Because there is connectivity from PCB to DevNet associate server using ICMP, you know all the physical problems and configuration problems preventing connections before have been solved. This means there is most likely a protocol issue preventing the web page from displaying. Web browser on PCB. Type IP address of the server along with the port. Okay, use this close command prompt web browser 209.165.200.227 column port 80, the port of HTTP, and go. You will receive a response from the server request timeout. Okay, wait a moment. Request timeout. The web page does not respond to port 80. In a previous lab, the server has configured to only connect using secure HTTPS. This was to make sure that the firewall does not forward the traffic on the unencrypted port 80. You need to use HTTPS. Okay, add the S, letter S. Now you have HTTPS column / the IP address column and remove the port or use port 443. Go. Okay. Success. The web page finally displays, or remove the port is the same because you are using HTTPS. Go. The same result. The most likely problem is the DNS configuration. Okay, now it's working using IP address, so the problem is DNS. Verify DNS on PCB IP configuration. IP configuration. Now this is the server, the DNS server 64.100.0.10, 64.100.0.10, the DNS server. Since it is correctly configured, check the configuration of the DNS example server. Okay, this is the DNS server 64.100.0.10. So review this. Click here. Services DNS. Services DNS. There are no DNS records, and service is disabled. Add an entry for the DevNet associate server with the name. Okay, use this name, www.devnet associate-netacat.pka, and the address of the server 209.165.200.227. Okay, a record and add. Very good. Verify. And turn on DNS. Okay, turn on. Okay, go to PCB, web browser, and try to access using HTTPS column / www.dev associate-netacat.pka. Go. Success. Okay, be sure use HTTPS secure, HTTP secure. You will now see that the web page is accessible using DNS across the network. Very good. Thank you very much. 100%.